Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing in the energies of RaYaR. And for those of you who may not be familiar with RaYaR, it has been a while since I've connected with her energy one-on-one in this way. She basically represents the feminine counterpart of Adronis. So she would be the feminine essence of the Adronis, or in that way, the Ra energy. And so altogether, Adronis and RaYaR represent the masculine, feminine portions pertaining to the energy of Ra. It's not the same Ra that is spoken of in the Egyptian context or in the context pertaining to the law of one with Ra. This Ra basically represents the star of Sirius, the starlight of Sirius, which could be portrayed as Ra. And that basically represents the masculine Adronis, the feminine RaYaR energies all together as it collates to that essence. So just a little quick background just in case some people weren't too familiar with RaYaR. But anyways, RaYaR is going to come through, and what RaYaR is going to be talking about in this video is the pre and post incarnate experiences. What happens before our life incarnates? What happens after we discarnate and move on? So RaYaR is going to come through and share this information. So I will just take a moment or two now to connect with her energy, and we will begin this fun transmission. Here we go. Beloveds, we want to thank all of you to allow this transmission to commence here and now, with all that are magnetically aligned energetically to what will be presented in expression throughout this particular transmission broadcast. We have been asked by the channel to share a particular form of enlightenment with you all as it pertains to your summoning before incarnation and your result after incarnation, as you understand physical reality. What therefore causes a soul to come upon a planet, to incarnate in a flesh, genetic suit, a body of this design? Understand that the contracts that represent all life, as you understand it, physically, are created by the host body, what you would know as a collective oversoul. And that this collective oversoul represents the essence of what you know as your Mother Earth, of your Gaia, of your Sophia. She has called all of you here, for no one can be here without an invitation. She therefore places the calls collectively in her nature, where souls that are beginning soul journeys, where souls that are also incarnated elsewhere, on other planets and other galaxies and other dimensions and other realities, become aware of this call. As they become aware of this call, they convene with the planet via a sojourn. We would state that these sojourns represent the migration of a soul coming together within a particular galaxy that you would refer to as your solar or star system galaxy, and begin their sojourn towards the planet that has broadcasted the call. As this happens, there are liaisons, energetically, consciously, that communicate with you. They therefore offer you selections as these guides, as these shall we say, moderators of the incarnation game upon this planet. And they show you particular lives that you are vibrationally in synchronization with. It is not about choosing any life on this planet. It is about choosing a particular life that fits your vibratory nature as a sojourner. Certain souls go to certain invited planets to work upon themselves. It is not of what you would say amusingly, a smorgasbord upon this planet. There are very specific lives that are being shown to you as a soul. As a soul in this conscious way, you are not fully aware about what this life represents from beginning to end. You will have certain ideas that represent what you will experience, the challenges you will face, and the overall essence of what awaits you in some detail as it pertains to this lifetime. However, you will not be aware of what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end. This is because the planet that you are incarnating upon represents a buffer, a filter, and that the soul itself, yes, truly is aware of what it will experience. But because you have entered the game, because you have accepted the invitation, the beginning of this filter, the beginning of this veil begins to take effect. And you will therefore have the idea that this is a particular life that has been laid out. This is a particular life that you have accepted. This is a particular life that has given you some information about what you will experience. Will you overcome the challenges that come forward? You do not know that. Will you be able to attain revelation within this life? You do not know that. And so you, therefore, begin the incarnate process. And through this convenience, we will speak to the example of incarnating into a human life. That through the first 49 days, as it states within your Tibetan Book of the Dead, the soul is able to fully incarnate into the body through the activation of the pineal gland. Throughout this particular time, the sparsing and coordinating of genetic information collates, infuses, and integrates its cellular components through soulful data that comes through, that represents genetic instructions, that represents Akashic instructions, vitality instructions, hereditary instructions, singular karma, collective karma instructions, that therefore incubate itself into the body during this approximate 9-month period. While you are contained within the womb of the mother, you are still aware that you are soul incarnated in this body. Therefore, the partial amount of information that you have understood as soul remains for as long as you are incubated within the fetus. It is not until the timing of birth that that energy becomes forgotten. That the veil itself creates a slate, and this slate creates the illusion of forgetfulness. For the moment that you pass through the birth canal, for the moment that you are evacuated from the fetus itself, you become time-stamped into the physical reality of confusion. This has to do with the idea of the physical reality bonding together with you, stamping itself into the equation of you functioning as an incarnate being. That the incarnate life has officially begun. That the fluidic nature of what you could say the preservation of your soulful nature has now expired. And the moment that you emerge from the birth canal is the moment that your astrological data succinctly vibrates in unison together with the coordination of data that has been brought forward through your physical body in agreement with soulful contract. And this is where life begins. Some may ask, RaYaR, if you are soul, how can you not be aware of the entire lifetime during selection process? The soul, again, is aware. But understand that the soul is not individualized. The soul does not function in regards to a parsing effect, meaning that it is not divided, it is not cracked, it is not splintered off. It is not the idea of a shard. For once you assign yourself to an agreement of an incarnation game, you pass through a filter. And the soul now generates its awareness contained within the bubble of this filter about what can be shared through liaisons. That is the game. When one is not officially contracted to a sojourn, they are observational of many different sojourn games that are being played, where they can access certain forms of information as an observational collective. But as soon as you puncture that veil, as soon as you move into the game experience, you are part of the filtration that takes effect. You have incubated yourself into the lens of the filter of the prism of the buffer. And therefore, you abide through the collective agreement as it is assigned by soul. For again, you will have a great deal of information pertaining to your incarnation as a soul punctured into the incarnate game. Again, where you have no obligation pertaining to a game, you will have an observational awareness about what is happening upon the planet. Understand that each game has its own moderators, has its own administrative management, and that only certain amounts of information pertaining to specific souls, whether observational or involved, will apply based upon the scrutiny and the selection of the collective management. That is what we can say pertaining to pre-incarnation, pertaining to the veil and the puncturing of coming into an incarnate game. We will now speak relating to the idea of post-incarnation experience. Post-incarnate experience varies depending upon the individual. For again, because you operate within a veil that is contaminated with free will, certain forms of differences will apply as it relates to your choices that you have made within that life. As stated in the pre-incarnate experience, you are not fully given the idea of what the end result is, as you exist within a game of confusion. So, for example, if you decide that your life has been very confusing, has been very hurtful, that others may have attempted to manipulate you, that you are not fully trusting of yourself, you are not able to guide yourself appropriately to discover the empowerment that has always existed within you, you will leave the body a confused soul. You will not understand what it is to be within a plane, on an astral level, of seeing your body decease before you. This will create fear. This will create panic. You will not understand what has taken place because there has been no intention of focus to relate to yourself beyond the body. Therefore, the physical realm becomes your domain as a replication into the astral domain. And that projections of your own emotional woes will function in multiple areas at the same time. Which means traumas that have not been healed, you will relive. Traumas that function through co-creation, you will relive. Anything that has not brought itself into a state of harmony, you will relive. Because these represent projection-based fractures. They exist within the imprint of space and time. And only are you able to move into those particular areas that represent woes, traumas, and work to heal them, will you be able to reintegrate those projections back into the whole. And this is therefore your task, as one who has been discarnate, to make peace with the projections of woes, with the projections of trauma, to return back to the one, in wholeness, unfractured. And this is what many spend their post-incarnate experiences performing. Being able to see these projected fractures and being able to heal them through the function of guides, mediators, that also join you in certain astral planes, that assist in allowing you to become whole. For once you become whole, you are able to return to the light. In a way of saying, the light is always available to you. But if you feel that you are again fractured, that you are undeserving of this light, that you are ultimately confused about what is taking place in your reality, the light will always feel as if it eludes you, because you do not understand. We will then utilize an example of one who feels that they have dedicated themselves to spiritual discipline, spiritual work, mental and emotional well-being, physical well-being. They receive an opposite. There is less trauma within their life. There is less strife and less hardship when they retire from the physical body. And it becomes easier for them to become aware of the light. They say their farewells to their loved ones. For it is indeed true that the loved ones are actually capable of attempting to anchor a discarnate soul into this realm of duplication, simply through the idea of grief. Not because they are forceful in a way, but because their energy is so overwhelming in seduction pertaining to the idea of grief that the soul actually feels that state of grief for them and does not wish to leave. This is why when a soul passes and many grieve, that soul has a challenge in resting, because they are still coerced in stating that they do not want to leave their family. They do not want to leave their loved ones because they see them in such pain. Not because they are forced to stay, but they are choosing to stay, to allow certain states of forgiveness, of unfinished means to commence. But one who is truly in a state of spiritual discipline, one who has aligned themselves into mental, emotional, physical well-being, will understand that nothing is ever lost. will understand that nothing is really ever gained, but everything is as it is. Everything holds perfection now. And that you're returning to the light, returning back into the oversoul, connecting back into sharing that information with your oversoul consciousness brings more illumination to yourself and to others than you can imagine. Because many will feel you crossing over. Many of you will feel your loved one that has passed returning to the light, and that will bring them joy. But for those who are still incarnate, that have seen a loved one pass, cherish the memories that they have brought to you. Cherish the time that they have spent to you, and honor everything that they are. Not from when they decide to pass, for passing will happen to everyone, but to realize that nothing truly ends, and nothing truly begins. Beginning and ending are cycles throughout a space-time plane. And that all of you have the capability to guide loved ones into the light. Because once again, they can become overwhelmed by trauma. They can become overwhelmed and feel guilty about leaving behind loved ones who feel that they cannot live without them. Let that connection go. Show that loved one how much you care for them by realizing that they can return back into an energy of peace, a source consciousness that is the true heaven. Is that not what you wish to have happen for all of your loved ones? Then realize that your emotional woes pertaining to a loved one's passing is truly of your own feeling of abandonment. That you feel that you are stuck, stagnant here, without their presence physically. But again, this has to do with the idea of one who feels that all of their joy comes through a materialistic plane, when it doesn't. When you truly enjoy friendship, when you truly enjoy family, you are enjoying that through the heart. Not through this physical matter, but through the heart, beloved humans. And that feeling of love never ends. The love that someone has touched upon you, the love that you feel resonant within your heart, always remains. Whether one retires from the physical body and returns back into spirit or not. That love will always be with you. That is the intangibility. Something that, again, humanity is still attempting to understand. But that is where the cherished relationships flourish, is when you feel it through the heart, not through the materialization of a physical game, but that feeling of being valued, of being cherished, of loving another, is a soulful quality. And it can never end. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be dismantled or abandoned. It always will be there, whether you remember it or not. Love will always be the eternal imprint. What happens when you move up into the light? When you move up the accelerated tunnel? This is when you move back into the energy past the game. When you are truly that of what you would know as your soulfulness, again referred to as an oversoul. That is who you are. You move into a reality where you move and transcend past physical personality, where you move past the idea of space and time and matter, that everything simply is, that it is complete non-linear existence, that there is oneness, that there is connection, that there is joy, that there is embodiment of the whole regained. That is who you truly are. That is what we refer to as the essence of heaven, the Eden, the source consciousness. One and the same, one in the all in the one. Only present here, only in this moment. No yesterday, no tomorrow. No feeling of confusion, no hidden agendas, no deviations, no deceptions, no emotional woes, no mentalities of belief. All of those walls have fallen. This is where you go when you lead yourself back into the oversoul. That you view your life in that particular way before coming back into the treasury of oneness. This is what many of you have referred to as a life review. That you return up the tunnel, that you come into an expanse, and that this expanse shares with you all that you have experienced within lifetime. For you to reflect, for you to forgive, for you to love, for you to understand the imprints that you have left upon that game as this particular being, as this character, as it were. This is what you wish to show yourself. And when you come to terms with all of that, you return back into oneness. One who cannot truly accept those terms may have challenges. This is where they go to other realms for healing, other realms for repair, so that they can help themselves to heal, to be brought back into wholeness. Only when you are brought back into wholeness can you return to oneness. And so others that have observed their life review will often be told to return back into the game of incarnation and choose another sojourn. A sojourn that best describes the energies of relationships, the energy of parameters that correlate to energies still unresolved. And this is exactly what sojourns do. They will assist you in healing. They will assist you in transformation. They will assist you in reflection. They will assist you in reflection of relationships. They will help you to break past illusions. They will help you to understand empowerment. They will help you to value one another, forming unification. Each specific form of sojourn, game incarnation, does this in its own unique way. This is the way of many of your planets, even in your own star system galaxy, even in others. Each one has a different game. And you are the one that says, yes, I will come here. Is it true that perhaps other souls say, I just played this amazing game of incarnation? This is something you have got to try. And does the soul make the decision of that? Absolutely. Because they too have heard the call. They too have attracted this entity, stating you have got to try this sojourn. This will fit you. This will help you to understanding more of yourself, because that's the point. A sojourn is simply that of a soul's journey into understanding the depths of themselves. And that some of you have come here simply because you wish to fulfill a mission. The earth has given you a request. The earth has told you these are certain selections that you can go with in regards to your incarnation that fit the bill, as it were, relating to your energy. The mission or missions that you have therefore look to accomplish. But when you come onto the world, it is an open world. It is an open, explorative journey. Whatever you wish to do, as long as you see it as valid, is what brings itself together for you. And that is what is to remember. Pre-incarnation is the setup of the canvas that you wish to experience as incarnate. post-incarnation is to reflect upon what you have learned, what has truly represented value to you, and should you wish to return once again. This is the game, post-incarnation, the soul journey to understanding the depths of yourself. I am RaYaR, singer of Sirius Light. We thank you for this interaction. We will now return to the channel. Our unconditional love, blessings, and appreciation to all of you, dearest beloveds. Goodbye. All right, great stuff. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and any questions relating to this video or of course any other videos on the channel, please feel free to visit my website, realitywhisperer.com, private sessions, courses, free media, and a lot more. Thank you again, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Take care, namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.